This lesson will focus on high probability requests, instructional sequences, and behavior momentum. First, let's consider what high probability means with regards to this intervention. A high probability behavior is one that the student is likely to demonstrate. When given in rapid succession, using a sequence of high probability requests, and then tagging on a target behavior, for example, a behavior our student or students are not as likely to consistently demonstrate, can decrease the response time and increase the likelihood for the target behavior to happen. To use high probability request sequences, first, you should identify approximately 3 to 5 high probability behaviors that your student can demonstrate and that you've seen your student consistently demonstrate. These can be very small behaviors, like give a high five, get your pencil, pick the red crayon, point to the window. You're looking for basic, easy behaviors to get the student on a roll. Once you've identified approximately 3 to 5 high probability behaviors, you'll choose a target behavior. The target behavior is the one you want to see happen. Target behaviors can include work completion, putting on a coat, tying a shoe, or initiating appropriate play. Once the high probability and target behaviors are identified, present them in a quick string of requests, one right after the other, with praise in between each. Here's an example for you. Tommy's a first grade student who would never clean up his space after lunch. He would put his lunchbox away, but he never wanted to clean up his crumbs, wrappers, or napkins. The target behavior, then, was to throw his trash away. Some high probability behaviors for Tommy included giving a high five, pushing in his chair, and putting his water bottle in his cubby. Thus, the high probability request sequence for Tommy would look something like this. Tommy, give me a high five. Great, now push in your chair. Awesome. Now put your water bottle in its spot. Amazing. Now grab your trash and put it in the trash can. You did it. What's important about the high probability request sequence is that it happens quickly and with lots of praise. Allowing too much time in between requests slows down the momentum and the probability that each task will happen. This is why high probability sequences are often talked about as behavior momentum. You're building on the momentum of them completing familiar and comfortable behaviors to get to the desired behavior you want. Pairing each act of compliance with praise positively reinforces these behaviors, making it more likely these behaviors occur again. Once the desired target behavior begins to happen with consistency, the sequence can be faded until it's simply the directive of the behavior without the need for momentum. There are some things to note when implementing high probability request sequences. If possible, the high probability behaviors should somehow be related to the target behavior. For instance, pushing in the chair and putting the water bottle away are both part of cleaning up after lunch. This easily relates and moves into the target behavior of throwing away trash. In the instance with Tommy, it may not have worked as well if his high probability behaviors were to get a pencil, write his name on a paper, and move to the carpet. It's also important to make sure the student can demonstrate the target behavior. In other words, that the student has the prerequisite skills necessary to demonstrate the desired behavior, and that the behavior is age and developmentally appropriate. If a student doesn't know how to write their name, then tacking it onto a sequence isn't going to be much help. It's very important to use clear and concise language. Because the sequence should happen rapidly with high probability tasks, using clear and concise language is necessary. Try high five instead of, hey, Tommy, could you please give me a high five right now? The more fluff you have, the more likely you are to lose the momentum to reach and complete the target behavior. When used appropriately, high probability request sequences can be used at any age level with students at all ability levels. It's easy to implement in any classroom setting, and it can be used proactively to prevent undesired behaviors from happening.